As always, it's very interactive, and we'd love for you to be a part of the conversation. The WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. You can also tweet at Smooth981, and we're streaming live as well. So just search for Smooth981, subscribe to the channel, and you can catch the live stream and even post a comment on there. All right. Good morning, Rotus, and welcome.
Good morning, Zibby. Good morning to UgoDre, our special guest, founder, chief analyst at Nairametrics, and also good morning to all our listeners, viewers. Ugo, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Rotus. Morning, Zibby. How are you guys doing?
Good morning, Ugo. Very well, thank you. All right, Rotus.
We're trying to survive. We're trying to survive, Ugo. We're trying
Amen.
to survive. Yeah, so lots to discuss.
Don't worry, you survive.
So, Ugo, lots to discuss, lots that we want to pick your brain on this morning. Everyone's talking about fuel price hike, but I really need us to talk about money supply. Article in Nairametrics about money supply hitting 63 trillion. Can you talk about why it's so high and what the impact is of money supply being that high?
Hey, thanks, Rotus. 4 trillion actually. So for those who don't know, money supply essentially is the total amount of money available in an economy at any specific time, and it's a major gauge of how well capital or money is moving around the country and what it's being used for. If there's a lot of money supply in an economy and is leading to economic growth, then it's typically a very good thing. It means that money is finding its way into more productive use. But if there's a lot of money in the economy and inflation is skyrocketing, like it currently is in Nigeria, it means that is a big problem. And what we've seen in the last 2 years since we've been tracking the Rotus is that money supply has been hitting record highs. I think from early last year, it's as if every month a new record. It kind of stabilized between December and I think May, this year when it was hovering around 55 trillion. We still thought that was like an incredibly high number because there was just so much capital, so much money in around the country, but weren't enough economic growth. And then yesterday, data from the CBN, suggests money supply is now 64 trillion. So all of a sudden, within 1 month, we added about 11 or so trillion, or 9 point something trillion to money supply. And we're trying to figure out why that happened. It wasn't really because maybe there was new money being printed or something. It was basically one, we think, due to the exchange rates that had been pushed. We moved from the former INA window that was sort of regimented or that was controlled by the CBN. So the IA window that essentially adopted market rates. So that depreciation from 460 to 7 something may have also meant that assets, money, because part of the money supply also includes dollar assets, right? And so those dollar assets may have been revalued, and that may have also triggered an increase in money supply. Then I think there was also an increase in deposits, bank deposit. Bank deposit also rose. It could also be due to that factor too, but it appears there was new money that came into the system. So we're going to learn more of it today when the NPC meets, or when the NPC delivers its communique. We'll probably know why there was an increase in money supply. But it's a big problem, Rotus. It's a huge problem because remember, we spoke about this last week. When you have a high money supply, then there's not a lot of money that's going into investment purposes because you don't have a very vibrant stock market. You don't have solid investment avenues or areas where that money is going to go to. A lot of that money is going to chase dollars, right? And a lot of that money is going to chase things like treasury bills that are low interest rates. So when there are low interest rates, you're not going to get foreign investors to come in here. So it's a big problem. Like when we saw it yesterday, it was a huge worry because then you said, look, with money supply this high, looks like exchange rate is going to be under pressure for some time to come because that money is out there at single-digit interest rates. And not a lot of it as well is going towards productive use, maybe using it to fund the manufacturing sector or to fund sectors in the economy that are rapidly growing. Make no mistakes about it. They are not telling you that if you have good products, they're not going to invest in. That is why today there are some companies If I can mention names, maybe like the MTN or Dangote or some of these banks, they can raise 100 billion in this market, and the market will stock it all in because there's just so much money out there, for where to go to. But at the moment, it's costing us a lot more problems than solutions. Rotus.
Thank you so much for that, Ugo. So I know we've talked about CRR, which is the cash reserve ratio. That's, the central bank makes a number of financial institutions keep with them as far as funds are concerned. But everybody's been jumping on the central bank's neck to reduce CRR. Like you said, we'll have a meeting next week. We'll see what happens. What are the tools you can use to reduce money supply? Is it to become more productive or what? What can be done?
Well, it's up there already. Typically, what the CBN will do is to raise rates, which they've been doing. So they've raised interest rates, NPR rates or interest rates are now 18.5%. I expect them to increase it when the Central Bank Monetary Policy Committee meets as well, because I don't think that it's going to, the current rate is doing enough to bring down inflation. I mean, you did see inflation at 22.79%. The central bank has also said that they are going to be releasing a lot more money to banks. Now the question is, the money that they're releasing to banks, what do you think they're going to use them for? Is it for them to lend more, or is it for them to maybe buy treasury bills like they were doing a few years ago? That's the word that I'm not too sure about. I mean, the banking sector welcomed the idea that they don't have their CRR given back to them, unlike during the period of Godwin Emefiele. So now they can use that money and have that money with CBN at zero interest rates. But then the savings deposit rates are not going up as well, so they're still pretty low. So I'm not really sure, how that would function or how that would work. But I think if you ask a lot of people, they tell you, why don't they just introduce old bills and then raise the rates at about 19%? Maybe that's one way of sucking money out of the economy. But the question is, how are you going to pay for that? That's really one I haven't gotten. Because if you do raise interest rates for OMO bills to 19% by fiat, not because it's market driven, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to pay for that money. And you're going to pay for that money by printing. Remember, that's also what created this problem that we're in. So it's a bit of a quagmire. I'm not really sure how the CBN wants to sort this out. We're interested to hear from them. That's why they're there, man. They're the guys with the egghead. So they should be able to solve this problem. But I think that one solution would be to find a way of actually increasing interest rates without hurting the economy further.
Excellent points. Thanks for that. And yeah, that's why they have the hard jobs. Ugo, a few minutes to go. I quickly want to get your thoughts on the fuel price hike that we saw yesterday. NNPC coming out, Melekiari, the head, saying, well, it's market forces. Is it really market forces, Ugo? Because I went to globalpetrolprices.com. Even at 617 naira per liter, if you divide by the 800 naira exchange rate, that's only 77 cents per liter in dollar terms. And Cameroon, Ghana, Senegal, they're paying over $1, which would put that 800 naira per liter they're paying there. I don't know. What do you make of the fuel price hike? And are we really seeing market forces at play, or is there still a quiet subsidy from government?
Well, I think it's a combination. I think that it's still largely opaque, the entire system. So people are still trying to understand or figure out how these prices are determined. I think this is the first time that you're seeing them actually import what the subsidy was done. They have to reflect the cost of those changes. We've heard a lot from them. They said it's market forces. Yes. I think one of them said it was the exchange rate. First of all, exchange rate is now close to 800 naira, and then maybe when the subsidy was removed, then it was about 6 something. So that may have also been a major factor. They also did mention that oil prices topped $80. So that's a problem, even though the current $80 price is meant to affect supplies in a couple of weeks, not months. So maybe not now. So they come with all these excuses, but I think it's still a little opaque. People don't really know yet. And what I'm really worried about as well is Rotus, it still operates like a cartel, right? It kind of looks like there's somebody deciding what the price should be, which is not what is meant to be. It's supposed to be market driven. Then filling stations shouldn't sort of gang up to determine what the price should be. They should just sell as they have, right? As prices change on their own. So it's still very opaque. I think over the next days and weeks, you're going to see a lot of pressure on the government to really make this market determined and not sort of have unions or have organizations or cartels decide what the price is like they currently are doing. But then, Rotus, this is really what gross subsidy removal means. People need to really tighten their seatbelt. More importantly, people have to hold government more accountable. Because if you keep seeing prices go up, which is likely going to keep happening, a lot more pressure is going to be on the government to get things right. You're going to realize that the sort of palliatives that they're speaking to is not really what's going to solve the problem. You need solid mass transportation. You need major investments in public transportation in the country. You need to have less cars on the roads. People should be able to hop on trains, hop on buses, that are well organized and safer for people to ride on. That's sort of like what we're looking out for, Rotus.
Rotus, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, Zibby, can we squeeze one more minute out of Ugo? I really want to talk about Pali. Yeah, Ugo, please, we're out of time, but President Tinubu reversing his stance on the 8,000 naira per month palliatives. Ugo, I don't know, this palliative thing, the population is so high, I don't know if you can determine how many poor people. Please, your thoughts very quickly on this palliative matter.
I don't know who advised him in the first place. I don't know who told him to do palliatives. I don't know why. Whoever told you to do 8,000? I mean, that was just a wrong move. Wrong move, and I'm happy that they immediately just rolled it back. It was a very, very badly thought or badly, carved out idea. They really need to go back and do their job well. 8,000 naira per month, it's not going to do anything. It's actually going to worsen things, and that's what I've always thought. It's going to make things worse because you don't give cash handouts when your inflation numbers are 2%. It just makes no sense. So I do hope that they find better use of that money. I think it should still go to the poor. But it shouldn't be 8,000 naira per month or any amount actually per month. Cash handouts would not work when inflation is sky high. It just doesn't work. What people need are solid palliatives.
UgoDre, Chief Analyst, founder of Nairametrics.com. Always a pleasure having you to drop this stuff for us. Thank you so much, Ugo.
All right. Thank you for coming through, Rotus and Ugo. Have a brilliant day ahead.
All right, see you. Take it easy, Zibby. Thanks.
Do stay with us. There is a lot more to come on the Smooth Breakfast.